It's a very beautiful good morning, and a very beautiful good morning to everyone. It's Wednesday morning. The sun is shining. No rain just yet, though I think there's been rain this morning. It's been very, very wet here for quite a few days. In fact, since I last spoke with you, it's been raining, relentless rain, so much so that there's been flooding. Not here, of course, but in and around the area. It seems that the initial planning, there was very little planning, by the way, but the initial planning that was carried out in the very early days of the Patron project, and this is written about in the book A Cottage and 3 Acres. That initial planning, John with his digger, digging out the trenches and the swales, although swales is very much southern hemisphere, it's about keeping water on the land, whereas here in Ireland it's ditches. So it's ensuring that water leaves the land and is directed. So all that digging, and you'd be familiar with the ditches here that were dug, and the stream beds and the ponds, continues to pay a dividend here at Patron Cottage, because there is no flooding. Regardless of how much rain falls, it's all channeled through the system here at Patron Cottage and carried away down into the River Firish and onwards towards the Shannon and the Atlantic Ocean. So, regardless of what's happening with the weather, with the extreme weather, Patron Cottage remains, as you can see, very much the same. Now, I'd like to think that Patron Cottage is at some point or other recognised as being a good model for moving forward through the chaos that humankind have created. Because that's what it is, that's what's happening out there in the wider world. Massive amount of chaos, and all self-inflicted. Now, before I go any further, I can see there's a little bit of fuzziness on the lens, so bear with me while I just give it a little clean. I've got a little tissue here, so let me just clean this. Okay, how's that? It's still a wee bit fuzzy just up there. Okay, I don't know what's happened there. Anyway, we will move on. I've often said that I didn't put a huge amount of thought into the planning. I was simply thinking in a very practical way. So I didn't go out measuring the land or looking for contours or anything like that. I simply recognised that at the back of the cottage there was a hill, and I could see where a lot of erosion had happened, and I could see that there was no proper drainage, and I could see that when it rained heavy, a lot of rain came down the hill and washed soil towards the back of the cottage. Because if you see in those very early photographs, there was grass growing out from the back of the cottage where the soil had been washed, continually washed and eroded down the hill and trapped then by the walls of the cottage. So, simple, practical steps. And the dividends that practical approach pays are continual and numerous. So here I am on I think it's the 4th of December. The back door open. Again, just building the little veranda there gives enough shelter to keep the back of the cottage dry and sheltered, and so the back door can stay open almost all the year round. So I'm going to take you out on a little walk down the driveway, because what I noticed yesterday for the first time, excuse me, because I have been doing a lot of work, by the way, over recent days, which is why I haven't been making a video. I've been doing a lot of clearing and cutting back, and this will go on for, I think, all the way through to about February, Imok. I've also been getting my 2020 calendar together, so I've been incredibly busy. It's the usual complaint with me. There's not enough hours in the day. And Jack says, "You're darn right, Mum, because I only had one walk yesterday." Sorry, darling, that was the rain. I'm not prepared to go out there and get absolutely soaked. I know you are. So, let me just raise myself up from my derriere. Oh yes, he always knows when Mum's about to step out there. But first of all, Jack, I want to show everybody your gorgeous new bed. Because in my clearing up, you see, I'm always looking to repurpose things, all right? I don't miss an opportunity to repurpose, which is upcycle something. So, you know the old chair, the swivel chair, which someone gave me years and years and years ago? It was an old doctor's chair. Well, I thought, I want to scale back. I don't really want this doctor's chair. He does. He says, "Oh, Mum." So I took the whole top of it off, which is the seat, which is an old leather seat. And I'm always very reluctant to throw away leather, because I realise that involved, you know, the life or the lives of animals, and I think we need to be a little bit more honouring of that, you know. So look at that. Doesn't that make the most fabulous bed for the lad? He loves it. The thing is, I have to kind of shift him from it in the morning. I have to sort of poke him to get up and out of his bed. So he loves it. So, right, now, I'll just get my little waterproof shoes on, because the ground is still quite wet. You know, there's been continual rain, so as you can see, I've done a lot of clearing out here. A lot. And I've cut back, look, the fuchsia there, I've tidied up all around here. I've sort of crowned that tree there by the right of the shed. I've cut back some of the hazel over here. There's a lot of work has gone on here over recent days. And of course this is what I love doing. I mean, I just love being out here and quietly working. Gives me inspiration. So you can see there's a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Definition. So I've been trimming off the cotoneaster as well. But what I wanted to share with you, because this has been the very best year yet for berries here at Bealtaine. Now, of course, the old wives' tale has always maintained that if there's a proliferation of berries, then we're in for a cold winter, which in many ways is true, because I am convinced that Mother Earth, being the supreme intelligence, if only we could have a slither of her intelligence, we wouldn't be in the massive nonsensical chaos that we're in. But I think she's able to define what's happening and define what is going to happen. Just looking at my lovely spiraling wood. Okay. So this cotoneaster, along with others in the garden, which in previous years, now this has been growing here for well over 10 years, but in previous years has never been able to hold on to its berries because there wasn't enough pollinators doing their stuff. This year they're covered with berries, which means there is absolutely lots and lots, and in fact an increasing amount of pollinators here at Bealtaine Cottage. Okay. Now that is going against what all the science is telling us. And if it can happen here, it can happen everywhere. Now, another piece of good news. Look at the wisteria. It's come back. And it's come back in quite a force. You can see all the new growth and lots of little buds happening. So the wisteria, Goddess bless it, has not died. It's still alive. So I'm going to look at this. I think this is the first year that there's been this many berries on what was a little cutting of the cotoneaster, which I put in there. But you know something, I think I might just... No, I'll continue on this way, and then I'll show you the cotoneaster up by the corner of the veranda when we come back. Lots of seeds. Now, I've cleared away all of that stuff. I took a carload to the amenity centre, the recycling centre in Boyle the day before yesterday. Got a few more bits of plastic left. Got an old cushion, and there's the seat. It's a beautiful seat, you know. It's lovely wood and all in it, but it's beginning to break a bit round the bottom. Anyway, I'll try not to witter on too much and just show you what it is that has delighted me. I need to be quick because the sky looks as though it's going to open and chuck down a massive amount of water at me. So I have to sort of go fairly carefully down this driveway because of course the middle bit, you know, here with the grasses, is a wee bit slippy. I'll try to walk on the little trackway because, as you can hear, there's lots of gravel down there. Now this is another little bit of repurposing. I had this round the back of the cottage and I thought, you know, that'll make a lovely wee bird feeder. So I must remember to put a wee bit more seed in there today. So that's hanging up down here. And I think the birds are making full use of that. And it's rather lovely as well. Just turning slightly all the time. So I need to pull myself together and get down this driveway because look at that sky. It's been such an amazingly almost severe amount of water has fallen from the heavens. So there's no complaints now about any kind of water shortage, you know. So, look at this, look at this. Isn't this amazing? Now again, what I'm loving about all this is that it means that the pollinators, which I see quite a lot around the back of the cottage, you know, where it's sunny and there's lots of flowers and stuff, they have moved out across Bealtaine. And this is the first year, and you can evidence this from previous photographs and previous videos, it's all been catalogued. This is the first year that there's been such a wonderful amount of berries. I mean, look at that. Isn't that just amazing? In previous years, you know, you'd kind of do this here and the berries would just fall off. But look at this, they're holding good. And that means there's been some serious pollination has happened. So look at this. Isn't that wonderful? But that's not all. She says, moving as dapperly as possible along the drive before the heavens open. Of course, I'm still in my gym jams. Look at this. I'm a brazen hussy going down towards the road in public view in my gym jams. But look at this. This is more important. More cotoneaster, and look at the berries on it. Let me just pull this bit down. Look at this. Look. Isn't that spectacular? Huh? So, no shortage at all whatsoever of pollinators here at Bealtaine Cottage. And that's not all. Look at that cotoneaster, which is a different variation. Oh, there's the rain started. But I'm just going to keep on filming. If I'm going to get wet, I'm going to get wet. There's no point in running. Amazing, huh? Jack! So we'll head back up. Now, of course, that's the field next door. You can see all the rushes coming up now because of all the rain. All that dark green is rushes. But of course, that's the amount of rushes that's left here at Bealtaine. Look, can you see there's a few rushes there? You'd be hard pressed to find a rush. Bealtaine. So the land is doing a fantastic job of dealing now with all the water, dealing with the rain. The trees are delighting in it, and the ponds delighting in it. I have plans to make some little mini ponds all the way up through the stream beds, so I feel very excited and invigorated by that. There's the rain started. Should I stand in here? No, I'll keep going. I'll keep going. So what I might do is just go up through here. It'll be a little bit less wet, because of course we've still got leaves here on the trees. So there's a wee bit of shelter. In fact, quite a lot of shelter. So, pollinators galore. The silly world of man, huh? Oh, the silly world of belting out here is, I'm getting soaked. Come on, Jack, move your butt there. Make it up through here. Ah, woo. Now, God, that was quick work. Of course it eases off just as I get up to the cottage. Oh, look at all the calendula. How beautiful. Tomatoes, look down there. Drips of rain here coming off the roof. Jack goes for a wee drink of water. Now, look at this. Look at all the berries on here. So, of course, just catch my breath. Each year, I always point out, I think during the month of May, just how many berries are on the cotoneaster here. Because this is a prime spot for the bees to congregate. All the bees and the flies and the wasps, and there's always this lovely hum, this lovely buzzing, you know. Now, if you wonder why I'm out of breath, I've literally run up the land, and anyone who's ever visited Bealtaine Cottage will know the hill that's involved in the land here. So the fact I haven't collapsed completely is a sign of quite rigorous good health. Now, yeah, so there's always a lot of buzzing here. So to have this amount of berries isn't a surprise. But as I said, down at the bottom of the land there near the road, the fact that there's so much pollination going on the outer reaches of the land and throughout the land means that as far as pollinators go, as far as the health of the land goes, we are looking at a clean bill of health. Bealtaine Cottage has passed all her tests. She now has a completely clean bill of health. There is absolutely nothing untoward happening as far as Mother Earth goes here at Bealtaine Cottage. So I would suggest that all the nonsense that's happening in the world, you know, been flagged up, been climate change, everything's climate change, that's a get out of jail free card for everyone. Not my fault. The Amazon, not my fault. It's not about climate change. Not that I don't believe in that, because I see it happening. But it's about our relationship with Mother Earth. Because that's what Bealtaine Cottage is about. my relationship with the Great Mother, with the Great Goddess. So blessings to you all. Have a wonderful day. And when you hear all the news reports and all the negative stuff that's happening, and believe you me, there's plenty of it. I'm not going to go into all this Brexit stuff and etc. I'm just not going to go there with it, right? But when you hear all that, try to separate that off as not your reality. The reality of your life is your relationship with Mother Earth. Do everything you can to deepen that relationship, to better it, to enrich it. Because therein lies the way forward. Blessings to you all.